in praying. I heard that they found the bones of Jesus. Okay, that's good. I'm glad you asked that one because, you know, we've been seeing this on television, right, on the news lately. And so that's an excellent question. I heard they found the bones of Jesus. You know, that's similar to some of the stuff that came out with the Da Vinci Code, right? Well, I heard that Jesus was married to Mary Magdalene. From DNA tests. It's on the Discovery Channel, which we know is an authoritative source for Catholic theology. Right. Now what? Is the final exclamation here. Well, question, now what? They found the bones of Jesus. This comes under the category of a special branch of theology. It's H.H.M. theology. That is happy horse manure. You see, that's a special category in theology. You all have to understand that that's where a lot of this stuff comes from. Baloney! Who said so? They found the bones of Jesus. Who said so? Listen, we know as a matter of faith, meaning there's no doubt whatsoever. This is false science. This isn't real science. I'll guarantee you, when they start looking into this, it'll be as bogus as a $3 bill. Jesus rose from the dead and ascended to the Father. It wasn't just a spiritual resurrection. By his power as God, he physically rose from the dead and ascended to the right hand of the Father. So can they find his bones in a grave somewhere? Baloney. This is nonsense. This is a lot of baloney. And you know, we are kind of heavily infected with that kind of stuff in recent years. I remember Father Benedict Rochelle, whom many of you know him from his shows on television. He had a very good friend he grew up with who became a rabbi. And Father Benedict and the rabbi went together for an Easter sunrise service at, I think it was Shea Stadium or one of the big baseball stadiums in New York. And they went and it was filled with people early in the morning on Easter one year. And they had a very liberal Protestant minister giving the sermon at this Easter sunrise service. And it went something like this. Well, it really doesn't matter if Jesus rose physically from the dead. And it really doesn't matter if you and I will one day rise physically from the dead. And it really doesn't matter if one day you and I are reunited with our loved ones in heaven. And at that point, the rabbi turned to Father Benedict and said, "So what matters?" Indeed. Listen, you will hear all kinds of things, all kinds of errors, lies, and heresies. That's the nature of the climate that we live in. It's no different. I think it's worse today maybe than it has been in the past, but it's not unusual. Remember where you are. You're in a war zone, okay? You occupy battle space. So do not be surprised if from time to time there's incoming artillery fire or things start blowing up all around you and trying to upset you, trying to disturb your faith. You know, all kinds of things that are in that category. You know, Da Vinci Code. Well, Jesus married Mary Magdalene. You know, I hear stuff like that. That doesn't warrant a serious response. That's nonsense. That total baloney. But it says so in a manuscript. Oh, look, I can write a bunch of baloney down and make it real official looking on my computer. I can do just about anything, publish a book, do anything, and then, you know, 1,000 years later, somebody reads this and says, "Oh, look, guess what?" You know, it may be right and it may be wrong. As a matter of faith, we know certain things. Another one, well, Mary had many children. No, she didn't. She had one, Jesus Christ, her only son. And she was a virgin before, during, and after the birth of her only son. That's a matter of doctrine, a matter of faith. And if somebody comes along saying the contrary through the conclusions of some false science or pseudoscience, we know, as a matter of fact, that's wrong. And eventually science will prove it to be wrong. Because real science and real faith are not opposed. They're all dimensions of the same truth. Science, faith, and reason are not the same thing, but they're not opposed. This is why it's so important for us to learn our faith. Ignorance is a dangerous thing. You know, in the military, if you were to go out into a very dangerous area, you go on patrol in Iraq or something, and you were asleep during all your training, and you walk out there kind of in a daze with no weapons, no concern that maybe there's going to be a sniper shooting at you, absolutely oblivious to this, that wouldn't be very smart. And you get killed, who do you have to blame? Yourself. You had the weapons, you had the training, you didn't use them. Now we've got all the weapons. We've got all the training. But we just have to take the time to learn a little bit. Learn your faith. There's no excuse not to. The Catechism of the Catholic Church teaches us what the Church teaches. I've given away thousands of copies of it. You ought to have a copy of it. Don't ignore it. Learn your faith, and learn it